back there. They're having fun. Live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Moyer. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. We are America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now on Twitter.
And today is all about Friday feeling, dating, love, and relationships. And we have our affirmation of the month still, which is love is the only truth. So today's show, we've got a psychic, our favorite psychic, and possibly get a little reading. And then finally, we're going to have a little whiskey talk. So tonight, when you go on your date, you can see if you want to throw back a little, few there.
All right now, apparently, this morning.
Right?
Yeah, why not?
I have a girlfriend who swears by her first date, you always order whiskey. That's her thing. She's like, because the man's never going to outdrink you if you just drink a whiskey. No joke. Well, good morning. We're so excited to have some special guests in the house. Mr. Brian Summers, the local Los Angeles ambassador of Macallan, one of our favorite whiskeys here at Focus TV, and of course our favorite in-house psychic, creator, guide, soul playground goddess, Michelle Niche. Good morning.
So good to be here.
Great to be here. Thanks
for having me.
Yes. Okay. So here in Good Morning La La Land, we like to know what people's morning routines are. How do you start your day?
I start my day meditating. I usually do a meditation walk, do a little bit of juicing, I do writing, and then I kind of feel it out what I want to do. Lately I've been hula hooping.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you follow that up, Brian?
You know,
What do you do?
I do a little meditation practice myself. I try and just focus on the affirmations, set some goals in present tense, and then I go about the rest of my day.
Since it is Friday feeling and we're celebrating the month of love, what do you love about living in Los Angeles, living in La La Land?
I've lived in LA my whole life, born and raised. I cannot imagine myself living in any other city. It's a phenomenal city. It's such a part of who I am.
I love the nature. I've actually lived in England and France and traveled all over the world, and everything is here. I mean, you've got the mountains, you've got the beach, you know, a half an hour drive, you can be pretty much in a country type area.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. And I love the art galleries and the little cafes.
That's one of the things I do love most about Los Angeles. It's just the access you have to everything, whether you want to go to a classic car show or the beach or get away and go to Big Bear. I mean, everything.
Meditation, everyday living. What's so amazing, I think, is all of our guests meditate. Did anyone get the email, the FYI download that everybody in LA meditates?
Yeah.
I had no idea everybody meditates here. It's so LA, right?
Well, not everyone, but I am trying
all of our
to
guests
on them. So I'm trying to start doing that as well. Until I learned we're not supposed to manifest during meditation. Hello.
I love that. I love that.
I'm trying.
So what's up, you guys? It's Friday. What's on the radar? What did you guys do yesterday, or what's going on for this weekend?
Well, Jez and I are planning on attending Elizabeth Winkler's event at the Bumble Hive, right, this Saturday.
I haven't been to the Bubble Hive, but I've heard it is such a cool location, and they're doing a whole Untethered Soul event, right?
Yeah, it's all about sort of divorce.
Now, I'm confused because I spoke to somebody about going, and they said, isn't that, it's business but for singles? Is it just traditional business, or is it business for singles? Because I don't know.
Well, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I think it's
matters?
just a network. Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to people.
Oh, cool.
So I think, and the Bumble Hive is really, I think, just sort of a co-working environment for people to, hang out with people. And,
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And then what else going on, Jez? This weekend, you said there's a couple of things?
As I'm looking here, I'm not distracted. I am looking down with purpose. So I always like to know what's happening in LA in the weekend. So I get all these newsletters, and Gold Star emailed me this morning, and they said today there is an Urban Chuck Wagon food fair at the Autry. There was merchants and whatever. It was the original food truck fair. Well, now, circa 2018, there's going to be over 100 different food trucks there that you can taste. There's going to be oysters, burgers, etc., all in the parking lot at the Autry. So
where's that? Where's the Autry or whatever?
I hope they keep those oysters cold.
There's also an arts fair in Venice this weekend, which should be neat. Maybe I'll hit that up after we do our little Untethered Soul Bumble Hive event.
Nice, I like it.
What are you up to this weekend?
A few miscellaneous things, but I'm hoping to go on another walk this afternoon. My whole thing, I've got this whole new way of working out because I'm going to like mix it all in with this new schedule, which I can't get my exercise in the morning, do my meditations in the morning. So I'm trying to like have more routine in the afternoon. So my whole thing is I've now doubled up. I have my socialization and my workout at the same time. So like go walking with girlfriends. I highly recommend it. It's changed my life. I love it. I get to like catch up on everything. And it's so fascinating because what's fascinating is when you go on a walk with a girlfriend, there's certain girlfriends that I feel energized after, like we've done creativity, we've got, like I'm a total entrepreneur, right? So I'm like, you know, innovation, we're like brainstorming about things, and then there's other girlfriends you talk with and you're like kind of a little bit zapped out afterwards, gotta admit. And I think as girlfriends, we're trained and programmed in our culture to bond via problems. And it's good because we need to talk about it with the intention of overcoming it and figuring out how to have answers come out of it. But then there's those other people that you feel like they just want to talk about their problems, right? They don't really want to actually work through it. So luckily, my girlfriend yesterday was amazing, and I have some incredible women that in my life that I love to walk with. But it's an interesting thing. I remember a mentor of mine when I was evolving and trying to step into my daily spiritual practice of positivity and not complain and all that. He said, just witness your friends. When you go to lunch, witness their conversation and realize yourself, become fascinated with what they're creating with their life, their story. Is it limited? Is it expanding? What is that? And you kind of go, oh, I like that, and you realize why people want to be around people that are like innovative and creative, right?
It's so important. I mean, that's one of the big takeaways for me is measuring experiences, conversation, relationships based on how they make me feel, period. Now that requires me being quiet and mindful enough to recognize the difference between what I feel and what the other person feels. But emotion is my measuring stick, happiness is my measuring stick for telling me whether or not something's healthy or not. And it's interesting, it's one of the reasons I think we know scientific.
Sometimes if I'm down or I'm kind of going through something, I tend to withdraw because I don't want to be that person that says everything because I know what it's like to have someone that's constantly like telling you all these problems.
Well, you know where it all starts?
Where does it all start?
A glass of whiskey.
That's our first
Just be honest. A glass of whiskey, and we'll just be real with each other.
Yeah, pour it up, pour it up. Okay.
I love a little soul playground.
That's right. I'm so excited. Our favorite psychic today, she actually has a show. Is that healthy or not healthy? Because from a perspective of ethics in spirituality, sometimes we feel like psychics are out of ethics because they're projecting into the future. And the future should be infinite potential, right?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
Well, if you dive deep enough, even if you talk to physics, they take sort of idea and concept. So that in and of itself blows the whole conversation into a new place.
I don't know about all that. All I know is that I think there's something incredible about a psychic's ability to tap into their intuition and also tap into yours. And I think a lot of times, I'll be honest, I've had a psychic reading, right, or my poems read, and I found it very interesting because everything they are giving them any kind of signs, they are just calling me out on what I already know.
Yeah.
But that's so different than, and I agree, like intuitive is totally different than psychic when they say, you're going to meet somebody on this date or this, I see this place, or like I feel like they're reading the subjective mind. You're reading what mental pictures are already kind of in your projecting out of your intuition. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to dive deep into this conversation.
I've had several girlfriends that have bought me multiple psychic readings.
This is what does that say? Tells a story because why did they do that? Because they wanted to know more about you, and so they were like, he's not telling me enough, I'm going to pay somebody to tell me about him?
I wonder now. Honestly, at the time, it's been a couple times this has happened, and so genuinely, they were into psychic readings, they were into spirituality. That's one of the reasons I loved, it's one of the things I loved about them. And that being said, they were all recorded. And and I remember saying to the psychic, it's cool, we don't have to record it. Like, why don't I just take copious notes? It's fine.
Right.
No, I insist, we're going to record. And I remember thinking, and they're all saying it. And I wondered. But, to be honest with you, they were all really positive, like auspicious things they were sharing with me. So I, for one, love and welcome information from everywhere. And for psychics, it was amazing how accurate the readings were. They were really accurate.
Yeah, some are obviously really good psychic, and some are totally
What's the craziest
frauds.
thing a psychic's ever told you, Erin?
that my guide is Jesus Christ. So they said I work through people's guides, and I've never ever had one guide be Jesus Christ. So I was like, okay, I mean, you know, I love all the deities, you know, all of the masters. Wow. So on that note, let's take a little break. Let's come back. When we come back, we're actually going to talk about a test you can take to be compatible with your loved one, or you're going to find your loved one through it or whatever. So we're going to dive into that conversation. So stay tuned, you guys. We'll be right back.
I'm Jasmine, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, and in case you missed us live, this was This Week in La La Land. I've got my co-producer, Victoria Simone, and on Monday we had Asante Cleveland of the LA Chargers. What? We made Grown Men Cry with Kirsten Collins, and on Tuesday we featured Lost Property Bar in Jeremy Lake. Wednesday we celebrated the Day of Love with Sophie Rose, Pink Lipstick, and Bogavia,
Beauty of the Adriatic. Our girl Alison Marie Ragusa came in
with a special Love Beauty box. We love you, Allison Marie. We danced it out with Ricky Rebel.
His hit track, Boys and Sometimes Girls. Thanks for tuning in to This Week in La La Land, guys. Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to This Week in Focus. My name is Victoria Simone, and I'm a producer here at Focus TV, which is America's first video streaming talk show network. And today I have my favorite girl helping me out, Jasmine Moyer, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, and let's talk about This Week in Focus. So last week we had the season 3 premiere of What's Good, hosted by Amy Pathrath and the amazing Justin Walter. We had the Alyssa Goodman Show, and
the series premiere of Reshape with Allie Landry.
We also had Good Morning La La Land, who was on your show.
Asante Cleveland of the LA Chargers.
What?
Hot, hot. Jeremy Lake of Lost Property. We also had Terry Briggs with Success Beyond Beauty, Kelly Noonan-Gores of the Heal documentary, and a very special Love Beauty box by Bogavia. And let's not forget we made Grown Men Cry with Kirsten Collins, and we danced it out with Ricky Rebel.
Thanks for tuning in to This Week in Focus, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
1, 2, 3. Look how cute we are.
We are so cute. Andy, aren't we so cute? Andy, don't you love us?
Bless you. Sorry, my sneeze is so aggressive.
Wow.
Somebody has Monday vibes, and it's not Monday. Asante Cleveland of the LA Chargers.
What?
Hot, 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 hot.
The Alyssa Goodman Show. Who cares? I don't fucking know. We're just clicking all day. I will not allow that.
Cheers. On Monday we had Asante
Cleveland. And you're with Victoria.
I'm with Victoria. What the F is my problem? This is it. This is it. So. Cheers.
Cheers.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We've got hashtag Friday Feeling today. So I am wondering what our guests do to get themselves in a Friday mood, right? We have got the McAllen local ambassador, Brian Summers, and creator soul guide, Michelle Meese in the house. So what do you do to get the Friday feels?
Oh my God.
I'm going to be honest, in my industry, the days tend to bleed together a little bit. So Friday doesn't necessarily feel that different from other days. I'm sure if I worked an office job, 9 to 5, that'd be very, very different. But
I think let's reframe the question. What do you do to get in the mood?
Uh-oh.
what do I...
A little whiskey?
That just, well, certainly that helps, but I tend to run a bit hot. It just happens kind of intuitively. I don't have to give it too much thought. Just always present in the back of my mind.
Music.
Nice, good answer.
Oh my God, music.
Music, what do you turn on?
All kinds of music. I have such an eclectic music collection, from country to house music to classical to, reggae. It's just, I get in moods, and whatever my mood is, that's what I put on. Salsa, merengue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Orale.
We love music here. It's
Nice.
a mood shifter, huh?
Right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Completely.
playing music, that's a big
play
one.
music?
I do. I've been playing music since I was 4. I play 10 different instruments, and
Oh, wow.
that's certainly a way to kind of just zone into something and push everything else out of your mind. And I love when you just lose track of time. You're just working on a song or something, and that just absorbs your entire focus. And that's usually a pretty therapeutic thing, I would have to say. Gets you juiced up.
In the flow, in the zone.
Right.
In the flow, rocking out. Well, thank you so much for sharing and being with us today on Good Morning LaLa. I'm so excited to get to know more about you and your journeys later in the show.
So, segment two.
Segment two.
Let's hear about this whole.
Right. So you guys know I went to a program at University of Pennsylvania. It's called Masters in Applied Positive Psychology. Positive Psychology, the study of what makes life worth living. One of my
So off the cuff.
Yes.
What makes life worth living?
Yes. And one of my professors there, favorite professors, James Pawelski and his wife Suzanne, they wrote a book recently called Happy Together. And the whole book is based on positive psychology research. But one of the most interesting findings, I think, in the book is that by focusing on your partner's strengths, you can improve the nature and the quality of your relationship, like really quickly. And so they have great recommendations around how to exactly do that. But of course, you got to start by taking the test. So there's like a character strengths and virtues test online you can take. It's pretty interesting. It breaks it down into essentially like 24 character strengths and virtues or values. They went basically across the world. They studied hundreds and thousands of different cultures and religions, and they took a sort of a very wide and broad perspective, and they basically whittled all the character strengths and values and virtues down to these 24. So you can take that test, you can find out what your top 4 or 5 signature strengths are, what your partners are, and then the idea is to pay more and more attention on how your partner is expressing those strengths on a daily basis.
So you mean focus on the positive, not the negative.
That's right, but it's evidence-based, so it's a little bit, sometimes it resonates more deeply with people. Sometimes when you focus on the best in someone, they might not be able to see it, so they feel like you're just, pulling the wool over their eyes, you're just trying to compliment them, you're trying to be charming, so they don't buy it.
Yeah. So what I thought was interesting about this is because it goes into like 4 different areas, everything from wisdom to justice to temperance to transcendence, and it's a lot of the value systems basically. But I have to play a little bit of devil's advocate here just to kind of make it a little spicy. I feel like personally, obviously they've done a lot of studies and they found that relationships that really work, 1, the man needs to be respected, and 2, the woman needs to feel loved. And I agree with those primarily. But I think there's major lifestyle things for me personally that I've noticed that seem to work or not work. Number 1, like things like, does somebody drink or not drink? And do they drink a lot or not?
Yes.
Sleep patterns. I think sleep patterns are another thing that really majorly impact. Because when you hear people complain about relationships, these are the things that you generally hear people complain about. Monogamy. Are people generally truly like this or not? Because a lot of people, they get married and all of a sudden the next person's like, hey, what do you think about swinging? You know what I mean? And truthfulness. How truthful? How authentic? How things like that. And then things like, are they entrepreneurs or not? I think that compatibility, you can have the best virtues in the world, and then people have a completely different mindset around business, which is like a majority of your day. So I love this task that they have, but I do think that there's some other major things.
For sure. So I think the entire sort of intention there, the argument is that these are necessary but not sufficient conditions in order to create a happy, healthy relationship.
I think what's most exciting about the test is learning what my essential strengths are for myself.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Regardless of the relationship I'm in, just having that knowledge after 15 minutes, it's really cool because then it's like, oh, okay, these are things I can celebrate, these are things I can share with them, and things that I'm going to look for in the other person. Just knowing and loving yourself is key before you get into any relationship, right?
Everything,
For
Jess.
sure.
And I love that point, and that is the take-home point, really, because what they essentially found, and not just James Pawelski, but the entire positive psychology community, what they found was the most successful individuals and corporations and families in the world do not focus on weaknesses and try to shore up weaknesses. Instead, they focus on their top 4 or 5 signature strengths and they exploit the heck out of them. That's how they become extraordinary.
Yeah.
So you just nailed it, Jazz. If you can really get clear about your strengths, double down on those things, appreciate them, and of course help them.
Maybe you'll get over the dirty laundry that just lives on
Right?
Maybe.
But I think it's true. And no one likes to be told that they're wrong or focused on what is not good about them. That's like 101 of any relationship.
Totally, Erin.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm pretty selfish, so even more importantly is that when I focus on the best in someone else, or I focus on their strengths, I feel good. And then I can sort of almost take them out of the equation and I don't need to depend on them for how happy I am in any particular moment, which means that I can be much more loving without any expectation of reciprocity.
Right.
I have a question. So at what point are you able to bring up another's weakness to talk about it, right? So to Erin's point, if there's things that aren't just working for you, drinks a little too much, stays up too late, sleeps in too late, things like that. At what point in a relationship is it okay to be vocal about some of those things so you can address them?
That's a
Great question.
I'd say as early as humanly possible, right? Yes. But the key is to be as skillful about it as humanly possible, right? And the other thing is, you can often talk about weaknesses as strengths dialed up too high. And that's part of the
That's a good reframe right there.
Well, and the Vedas are say, as it is, meaning, I think, again, like you said, Jess, it's important to know yourself. So if you have, like, what's your ideal scene, what's your must-haves, and what are your deal breakers, and if that person's going into deal breaker things, there's no point. Like, let's face it, people aren't going to change. You can say, like, these are my ideal scene, this is my deal breakers, and they are either going to be themselves or not. Like, it's not necessarily, I think there's a crafty way of enrolling, they say enrolling and inspiring somebody into the vision you have around a relationship. But I think if we ever say anything's wrong with somebody or you wish they were a little bit more of this, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
I completely agree with you. I think that and that's why you have to find a way to say it. So there's this acronym that we talk about all the time, which is THINK. So before you speak, think. And THINK is an acronym that stands for make sure that what you're about to say is true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind. And you can find a way to reframe anything so it meets those criteria. And until you can, you might want to wait. Because even if you get your point across, what often happens is that people shut down, they stop being receptive, and they walk away, and they're more resentful towards you, and then the relationship just goes, more downhill.
Right. So crazy. So anyway, this survey is called, let's make sure.
VIA.
I'm sorry, let me make sure. Where was it called?
The VIA.
It's called the VIA. Oh, yeah. VIA survey, and their book's Happy Together, and there's 100 questions. It's by Susan Pelegi.
Pawelski.
Okay, that's her middle name. And then Pawelski. And then James as well, both PhDs. So check it out. You can look at it online, Google it, and I think it's brilliant. I think we definitely should be understanding ourselves, taking the surveys, knowing our type and things like that, and understanding them.
And one thing that you guys bring up, which is I think just so beautiful and such a poignant comment to make, is that at the end of the day, I think we make a huge deal about relationships, and I feel like that takes the focus away from love. You don't have to have a quote-unquote traditional relationship. You don't need to be in a romantic relationship with someone in order to love them. In fact, often you can love them much better if you're not in a romantic relationship.
Yeah, the whole title thing screws up everything.
It screws up everything. It focuses on relationship, but really it's about the love.
Well, especially if you're going through a breakup and you're like, wow, we are not loving each other right now. The best thing for us to do is to take this time apart to heal so we can love on each other as friends, because this isn't a loving situation.
Absolutely. So my commitment is to love, and I don't do that even for the other person. I do it because it feels good to me.
Right.
I like that feeling.
Amen. We're preaching here. It's early in the morning on a Friday, so let's take a little break. Let's get back and talk to the experts. Maybe they can give us some psychic reading on this whole.
I need a little whiskey in my coffee. So we'll be right back with more Good Morning La La Land.
Hello, Los Angeles. I am your host and producer, Alex Worley, filming inside Focus TV's West Hollywood studio. Welcome to Empowerista, a show dedicated to highlighting female trailblazers and empowering you to turn your barriers into breakthroughs.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Paprath.
And I'm Justin Walter.
And this is What's Good, the show that's dedicated to positive, uplifting stories from all over the globe.
Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moye.
And we're making history as the first live streaming daily talk show.
This is where all kinds of shit happens.
Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles, at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Alyssa Goodman Show. So Kelly, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Alyssa. This is so fun.
I know.
What's up, Rose girls? I'm Jessica Carroll. Today we're gonna have so much fun because we have fitness personality Katie Austin.
Hey,
we're
thanks
having
for having
Rose
me on.
with
Cheers.
Katie Austin.
I love it. It
Cheers.
feels like a Saturday.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Millennial Life. I'm your host, Laura Odegaard, and today we are joined by the very beautiful former Miss California and now a TV host, Natasha Martinez. I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
You are tuning in to Slay with Rachel McCourt, and I have a fabulous guest. In studio with me is Liza Glukoff. She's just been named executive producer of programming at Awesomeness TV. I mean, no big deal, but huge. Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Are we so excited right now?
We are so excited.
I mean, we have roses, we have perfect lighting, we've got some Spa Girl vodka in case we get a little crazy.
Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal law and spiritual truth, having a conscious conversation in the heart of Hollywood. And I'm honored to have the guest today, who is Christina Pascucci, who is amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's an honor to be here with you. I so appreciate it. Hi, I'm Jenna Barnett with Millennial Mom on Focus TV. And today I have Jennifer Yen here today to chat with me about all things mom related. So you actually started your career as an actress and you were on the very famous TV series Power Rangers, right?
Yes, I used to fight them as my first career.
You're watching Beige Bay TV. It's fitness expert and your Beige Bay Edwina Chia. Ladies and genticles, Tiffany Angulo. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. You know, you're my Beige Bay of the week, not only because of your nationality, but because you just seem like the girl who does it all.
Hi everybody, I'm Allie Landry and welcome to Reshape TV. I have created an online platform, reshapelive.com and Reshape TV, to provide a place where women can learn from the very best resources for those of us who are striving to reshape our lives and live an optimal, healthy lifestyle.
Hey LA, I'm Gwen Lane with the LA Girl, and I'm here with Liz Hernandez, former TV host at Access Hollywood and now the founder of Wordiful. So excited to hear more about that. Liz, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi Gwen, thanks for having me.
Hi everyone, it's Michelle Gillette, life coach and host of the Spotlight series on Focus TV. And joining us today is our dear friend, Shalini Videra.
And thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm so happy to be here.
You're the perfect person to be here because we love anything that is, women helping other women, women empowering other women.
Hi, I'm Janica. I'm here with Focus TV for my segment of Fearless Females. And today I interview Doriana Richmond. You're gonna love listening to Doriana. Not only is she beautiful, but she's so heartfelt and she has created this amazing jewelry line called Stone Simple. Hi.
Well, thank you for that introduction.
Yeah,
wow.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Hi, and welcome to Everyday Game Changers, the show that features people giving back to their community. I'm your host, Annalise Getz, and today we are joined by Rolanda Watt. Rolanda is a stand-up comedian, she's an actress, she's a television personality, and she is a philanthropist, which is why she's here today. So thank you for joining us, Rolanda.
Thank you for having me. A joy to be here.
Today on Moms Matter, we're going to talk about money, 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 something that we all struggle with and we need help with, and that's why we have the fabulous Winnie Sun, who's here with us today.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know you've been on MSNBC and Forbes, and you are the money expert.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new magical episode of Soul Reboot. I am your host, Allison Charles. Please welcome and meet this powerful divine queen whose name is Daphne Wayans. I am so happy to be here with you.
I'm so honored to be here.
Welcome back, live from Los Angeles. We are so honored to have Michelle Mache. She is not only an intuitive soul guide, but you have a podcast called Awakenings, and you are a best-selling author, and so on and so forth. So great to have you here on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad I finally made it. It's great to be here with all of you. I love
so
how
happy
you
to
started
have
the
you.
beginning. You're ready to go.
You
It's
got us
meditation
going.
in itself.
It is dance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very curious to know, when did you start this journey of being an artist, a guide, a creator? What was that moment for you?
Ever since I can remember.
You were
I've
just
been
born
writing,
that way.
I was just born. Gaga, lady. Yeah. I I've been writing since I was 8, and I actually was published in a couple poetry anthologies starting in 3rd grade.
Wow.
NBD.
Yeah, right.
Wow. So what happened? How did you know? How did you know you had psychic abilities? Like when how did you know?
Okay, so when I was little, I would just predict things. Like if somebody was sick, or a friend's pet was going to die, or I remember one time my parents had invited friends of the family over, and I just blurted out, "They're not going to be able to come because he's going to be in the hospital."
Oh.
And my mom's like, why are you saying that, Michelle? And he goes, he's going in the hospital. He's going to be in the hospital, and he's going to be really sick. And so then that happened. Like 3 days later, the man went in the hospital. And so my parents, they didn't dissuade me. They tolerated it. But I just knew things. And then I was a kid. I was very curious. I read, library back then. I went and looked at astral projection.
Wow.
Things
And so
like
what do you
that,
think, what do you feel like you attribute that to? Is it just something that you have been doing for many, many lifetimes, or is it something that you have a calling around it? What do you attribute it to?
Both. I think I have a calling. I mean, everybody's intuitive. So that's the sixth sense. Everybody's intuitive. We have an inner GPS, our gut knowing. We get flashes of insight. We think of somebody, they call us. So we're meant to integrate that more. Psychic simply means the soul. So you're reading from the soul or the Akashic. But I have a way of tuning, and there's a lot of different disciplines, but I have one way of just tuning into God or spirit and getting messages. I work with guides. And how I really began doing this, I used to model and act. And for like 2 years, I got to put on this list, do not use list, because and it wasn't just me, it was other models that had been used a lot on in catalogs and different programs. So right when that happened, I started being awoken from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And I would get information on people, and I would hear, this voice saying, "You're going to meet this person, give them this information." And I was like, what is going on? This is like, okay. And sure enough, I'd meet the person, they'd be to me, and I'd have information. Or I'd take a class in astrology or writing or whatever I was taking, and the next morning, 3 a.m., ding, there I am writing it out, and I'd be like, call this person. And one person that I called, Jan Messenger, isn't that so appropriate, Jan Messenger? She was an astrologer. I took a class from her, and I got this voice, call her and give her this information. And it was very confidential information. It was about a lawsuit that she was involved in. And the voice was saying, call, call, call. And I was like, she's going to think I'm a nut. I'm not going to call her out of the blue. But I did. Finally I did. And I said, I know this is going to sound so weird, and I'm very grounded. If this wasn't happening to me, I wouldn't believe it either. And I gave her all this information, and she said, first of all, I'm going to be gone. I was going to be gone for 2 weeks. And this information I've been praying for. It's so crucial. And there's no way you could have known this because it's a highly confidential lawsuit. Wow. And then I had some personal information about her as well. And she said, I'm an astrologer, but I don't believe in channelers or psychics. I think they're, all BS. And I said, okay. She goes, but since you called me, you're the real deal. She started sending me people for 2 years. I hardly worked because I'd saved enough money. People called from all over the country, all over the world, and I gave people readings for free.
Wow.
And then I read for this woman in Newport Beach, and she said, you're really good, you should charge. And I'm like, oh yeah, maybe. And so that got me in a whole nother direction of training and studying. And
I wonder what it's like to have that responsibility when you get a message for somebody that could change their entire course of their life. What does that feel like?
Wow, what a great question. It's not me. I'm just a channel for spirit or God, so I'm not so attached. I mean, sometimes I do feel like you really need to know this. But I also know they'll get it in another way. If it's not from me, a dream, prayer, some other way. So I'm a conduit as much as possible.
So speaking of, we want to get a little reading from you.
Oh,
Since you're here, since we don't have a ton of time.
Are you sure you want to do
that? We want to do a little wherever intuitive, whatever the three, whatever it is for here, whatever it is that is.
Ask the question. It's like life. You got to show up. And when you ask the question, you're invested. Like on my podcast, I do live readings all the time, and people tell me about my life or my life. We got 2 minutes. That's a big And I'm like, be invested in your life. Go for it. And that means you've got to be involved.
Right. Well, let's just do it on Good Morning La La Land, because we're all here. The intention, we all, I believe, have very pure intentions. We all want to do good. We're all positive psychologists. We've got Andy, who's like an angel in the house. Jeslin's, who's just an incredible worker and a light. And, you know, we have so many options. We have people looking at it. We have, you know, networks looking at us. We have capital people, angel investors. We have all kinds of stuff. And I think sometimes it's kind of like, where do we direct our energy? Because there's so many options. So is there anything there
well,
for
obviously, obviously for all of you, what you're doing. The thing I'm pulling, like, I'm getting like message from you, and I'm seeing, and I don't know if you do this now, a lot of philanthropic work.
Oh, that's
Charity,
fantastic.
yeah, to start aligning with that. I feel like there's a whole new opening for you. And I do see something, and I don't know if it's this, but where I feel like you're going to be on location or more on the road or doing kind of appearances. I don't know if
I love that. You're totally speaking to me right now. Yeah.
But you're meant to write a book, and that I feel is also part of the speaking engagement.
Thank
but
you
yeah,
for that.
but you're very inspirational and working a lot with women as well.
That all feels so in the line.
Right?
Yeah, just no chance. I'll be honest.
I gotta be honest, this is the first time I'm meeting you, and
we
I
met
don't
like
even,
20 minutes ago.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
And both of you, a lot with TV and media. And I feel with you, it is also working with programs of empowerment, also specifically women is what I'm hearing. But I feel also maybe like more of a production company, but also perhaps I don't know, online. It's online courses, online media that I feel you're really meant to get out there. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the main missions I've been working on.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
daily spiritual practices where I'm bringing practices to people online and
Well, there
working
is.
with many
Well, that's
people
part-
to
yeah.
bring their courses to people online.
Awesome.
And you, I feel very inspirational. I feel like from a child, you always lit up the room, and you're always there for people. Like if people have problems or issues, they would always come to you, or family, they always come to you. And I feel like somehow you have a lot of compassion and a lot of wisdom.
Very true.
Is that true? Okay. And so what I'm hearing with you, also book and book series, and what I'm hearing from Spirit is that you need to take what you know and put it more in form. So focus for you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You got to focus. And don't focus TV.
Yeah, right.
There's a reason we're all here to focus.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Very
So
true.
glad you made. I have a question, because this is like, so it's always fascinated me, I think, folks that are just so in tune with spirit and that just have access, Akashic records and soul. You know, what tips would you give people that want to access that? Maybe they can't do what you do, or they don't do what you do, but they still want to be able to access that soul and access that information and their intuition in a deeper way.
Yeah. And soul is the part of you that's the unique, your talents, gifts, your uniqueness. It's your design or the blueprint. So, I mean, we all have, obviously, psychologically an ego. That's not going to go away. You know, you kind of train, and it's important. But it's to learn not to respond from that. And meditation is key. Because what really blocks people from their intuition is emotional patterns that don't work. You know, or so wanting something or not wanting something, or fear. And all the fear, natural human emotion, that's fine, but not to get your clarity. So I would say starting, in fact, on my website, soulplayground.life, there's free meditations. And breath work is key. So I really teach people how to meditate, but also how to tune into what we call that subtle energy, the energy of spirit, or the
Pranayama, what people would call it, whatever. I love the breath work.
And I thought it was so
Shakti.
interesting. Right here on the back of this gorgeous book of yours, it said that a quiet, calm state of mind to achieve clarity is necessary for decision, right?
Yes. And here's one tip. Spirit always acts in a holy instant, like that, or the 11th hour. So if you're mulling things over and thinking and thinking and thinking, that's not intuition, that's not spirit, that's ego. And that's okay, but don't act from that place. Because spirit will do it like you're like, oh God, I'm not ready.
Boom.
Or it's like, oh my God, oh my God, 11th hour.
What do you mean by 11th hour?
Like it's almost too late. We'll think that something's too late, or I don't know what to do.
Maybe it even was like the 13th hour.
Yes.
Like, oh, I missed my opportunity, and then boom.
Late, yeah. Because everything operates on events in the time of spirit, because there really is no time. So as you become more evolved, a little conscious, you move out of linear time anymore into synchronistic timing. Things happen by synchronicity. It's a divine right timing. Everything moves around or conspires to assist you if you don't get in the way.
We have to take a break, and I want to have you back like every Friday, I have so many. Like I just love, I mean, clearly you're very gifted, and the work that you've done and are doing for the world is so important. As you know, my book's called Awakening. You have a podcast called Awakenings. Like you are my soul sister for sure.
Yeah.
So we have to take a break, but we're going to bring you back in the final segment, and we just want you to know that we want you a part of Good Morning La La Land. We want all your good juju and all your stuff.
Thank
And
you.
so
I feel so good being here.
Right?
I really do.
Yeah.
So heartfelt energy.
I know, right?
I'm not going to lie, I was nervous you were coming this morning.
So please stay tuned, you guys. We're going to be right back with a little whiskey talk. We're going all over the place with this show today. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. I'm Jessamine Moyer, host of the Focus TV network show, LA Unscripted, and co-host of America's first live streaming talk show, Good Morning La La Land. This is the Focus Magazine preview show and an exclusive sneak peek. Today, I have the privilege to announce the March 2018 issue of Focus Magazine, and we're calling it the Influence issue, featuring amazing personalities making a difference in our local communities. On the cover, we have singer-songwriter and host of Chasing Glory podcast, Lillian Garcia. I had the extreme honor of both interviewing her and writing a feature for the magazine on Lillian. She's truly an influencer on so many levels. Joining her on the cover is my spiritual influencer and co-host of Good Morning La La Land, Dr. Erin Haskell. And with her is a true professor of influence, Amanda Russell. Also featured in this issue, we have the constructional chef, Scott Harris, executive chef from the Four Seasons Hotel right here in Beverly Hills, Byron Thomas, and two members of the Focus TV family and dynamic duo of lifestyle influence, Janet Gunn and Melissa Myers. Also in this issue, we feature Lauren Everts, the founder of the Skinny Confidential, hello gorgeous, and the candle makers Elise Fratto and Maylene Weber of Leone Candeli, which is of course right over there. And Cynthia Abbey Naked, who I interviewed for my show LA Unscripted, and she is the founder of a great piece of functional jewelry from the Coley Collective. We also have a celebrity chef, Serena Poon, and her new product, Just Add Water, and a series of 4 mom influencers from our millennial mom herself, host Jenna Barnett. It's all influence, influence, influence in this issue of Focus Magazine. Get your copy today on newsstands or online, and be sure to watch our companion video features as well, because we are the only magazine in the country providing a robust video complement to our print features. I'm Jessamine Moyer, coming to you from the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. Thanks for watching. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I am so excited for this Friday because we have McAllen in the house. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, Brian.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. So, right off the bat, you're a Look ambassador here in LA. Why did you choose to work with McAllen?
You know, I was behind the bar making really, really elaborate cocktails for 10 years. Sometimes it'll take me hours and hours just to prep one component for a cocktail. And when I get home, I'm not going to go through all that fuss just for me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, but that being said, my palate kind of got spoiled a little bit. I was craving complexity and layers. Yeah. So single malt scotch category was a very natural thing to gravitate to, because it is so inherently complex. And the best part about it is get home and just and it's ready to go. Ready to go.
Like a one click. It's like one click.
This is literally like a spiritual practice for a lot of people. It's ritualistic. It's a bonding experience, and there's a lot of history around it and all kinds of stuff. Tell us a little bit about that kind of culture, because there's people watching that don't really understand why whiskey is such a special thing to people.
Sure, and especially again the single malt category and the Macallan has so much heritage. It's been around since 1824. We have just such a beautiful process. We're distilling on some of the smallest stills. We grow our own barley on our estates and a proprietary strain of barley. But I think what really sets Macallan apart is our wood program. So we spend more per barrel than any other distillery, 10 times the industry standard. Wow. And when you factor in the fact that all of the color in a perfect world, we'll touch on that in a minute, but all of the color and about 80% of the flavor and aromatics is coming from the wood. So that's definitely a very, very important step in the process. And there's different types of oak that are going to give you different flavors. You know, how many times the barrel has been used, what did that barrel previously hold? These are all, very, very important variables in addition to time in regards to the maturation.
When I was looking up on the Macallan website, you mentioned there was a spiritual home and even 6 pillars to the brand. Can you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our spiritual home is Easter Elke's house. It sits on an estate in Speyside. Some of these other pillars are, again, our curiously small stills. So we distill on tiny stills because we have these very, very robust oak casks that we're using, and Macallan uses a lot of sherry casks. Sherry is a fortified wine from Spain that we season the inside of the barrel with, but this is, again, a very robust cask, so we want a very viscous, new make spirit that can stand up to that flavor. When we're distilling, with all distillation, the stuff that comes off the still at the beginning and the end is not really what you want. Especially some of the stuff that comes off at the beginning. That's the stuff that moonshiners didn't know to cut, and it had people going blind.
You're talking way over some of our heads.
There's different types of alcohol that evaporate at different temperatures. Wow. So we want to just really isolate a very, very small cut, and the pickier the distiller, the smaller cut from that middle cut you take, and Macallan takes one of the smallest cuts in the industry, and that's all before it goes into those really
So let's break it down for LA. Like, where do I go? If I'm going, you know what, I'm feeling like some serious whiskey, or a scene where there's a lot of whiskey drinkers, where's the hottest places, would you say, around LA?
Oh, you know what? That's almost an impossible
Well, let's give a shout out to one of my favorite whiskey bars where we met, actually, Lost Property Bar on Hollywood and Vine. That's a great one. They have over 200 different whiskeys, but Macallan is its finest. We did a blind whiskey tasting, and that was everybody's favorite.
Oh, really?
Hands down. And this is quite an array. You know, we went with our executive producer, Andy, and he was like, oh, I'm a Macallan guy, and collection. So we've got a couple special pieces from the collection with us right now, right?
It certainly does.
Break it down for us.
All right, so this is currently available. This is our rare cask. This is made up from the top 1% of our stock, aging in our warehouses. But your producer, Andy, has some really old and rare bottles that have been extinct for quite a while. So there's some really interesting stuff here.
Why am I not surprised by that?
Absolutely.
He knows the best of everything.
Sure,
Yeah.
certainly.
What does it mean when it's extinct?
It means they stopped producing that specific expression. So
Wait.
1824 is when the distillery was founded. Yep.
Okay, this bottle's not from 1824.
No, certainly.
Oh my God, I should have touched this. Never mind, I'm so sorry.
Wow. 25-year-old, and it's an anniversary edition, so this was a one-off bottling that they did several years ago.
Oh, how interesting.
Well, we could party with you all weekend long. We have to take a little break, but we come back, we're going to bring everyone back, and maybe we can
do a little taste.
Do a little spirit. Because they call it, from a spiritual perspective, they call it spirit because when you drink a lot, you're actually calling some spirits. They're able to like embody your being when you are too drunk. So it's actually like that's some of the spirituality.
I'm my best
so I'm curious to know.
know.
So you guys, stay tuned. We're going to be right back. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Moyer. Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles.
America's first live streaming daily talk show.
At 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And we have a sexy show for you today.
Oh, I do want to promo? Do I have time?
Yeah.
On this a speaking engagement that I'm doing.
Yeah, sure, of course.
For Dance for Diversity.
Oh, cool.
Dance for Diversity.
Downtown LA at City Hall this Sunday.
Oh my gosh, how
10
fun.
to 5.
Oh.
Some salsa.
She has a TV show similar to your guys.
Ellen.
Yes!
The little peck, come on.
I feel so bad for Jess.
We're live. Do it for the people viewing.
For the people.
Wow!
M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E Club Mickey Mouse.
We definitely were not prepared today, and it was
I'm okay on, but the other half completely.
We are streaming to you live Monday through Friday on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Happy holidays.
It's gonna be a
Good morning, La La Land.
5, 6, 7, 8. We are the Mouseketeers, and we proudly wear our ears. We mousin', we mousin', M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E Club Mickey Mouse. Good morning, La La Land.
True. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We're here live from Los Angeles, and we're talking spirits. All kinds of spirits today. We are talking spirits. I know you have an event that you wanted to mention.
Oh, absolutely. This Sunday, 10 to 5 p.m., Dance for Diversity. It's in downtown LA at City Hall, and I'm actually going to be doing the opening meditation.
Nice.
And I'm going to be speaking. There's going to be all kinds of speakers, dance music, EDM, house music, all kinds of music and art. And
wow. So it's
a
like
wonderful festival.
Wow, part party, part meditation, part art.
That's what they wanted to do, to make it a party, get the party people there, but raise some consciousness while we're having a good time.
And get some physical action on a Sunday during the day.
And dancing,
right?
and at City Hall. I mean, to bring that to City Hall, and it's all about diversity, living your truth, living authentically, and just showing up in your life. Yeah.
Maybe they can bring some whiskey.
I was just going to say.
Bring some whiskey. I was going to say, meditation doesn't work. Take a shot.
Friday. So what does it look like besides that on Sunday? What do you guys do on the week? Did you have to go into the bars and like?
That's a huge part of what I'm doing, absolutely. So in addition to doing fun consumer events, I think one of the most fun for me parts of my job is building this incredible brand in the Los Angeles cocktail community. There's some incredibly talented bartenders in this city, and the fact that I get to just build these incredible relationships with them, put a face to this brand, to build that, to drive an advocacy needle.
Anywhere that you we obviously love Lost Property.
Oh,
in addition to Lost Property, anywhere else that you really love,
you know
recommend going?
There are just so many great bartenders, and I'll follow them wherever they're
I'm saying, can you pick your favorite child? You know? What's really
Absolutely.
happening in the bar scene here in Los Angeles is incredible because it's gone beyond just being a bartender, right? These are craftsmen.
They're mixologists.
Mixologists. They
Right?
are artists. You know, you were even saying you would spend hours in creating just one ingredient, one
Absolutely.
part. And that might even just be like the dropper that goes in there for the aromatics, you know?
Easily.
It really is beyond a cocktail. It's
very
just art.
social, like a real
It certainly
social.
is. To that effect, I think some of the greatest conversations I've ever had that really connected me to people were over a glass of good whiskey. Good people, good music, good drink, good food. That's what life's about.
Why do you think that is? Because so many people say like, oh, bartender was like my therapist. You know, there's something, you sit down, you have
Right.
a drink, you're sipping your Macallan, and next thing you know, your whole life story spills
Right.
out to the guy with the
Spills out.
towel just wiping the bar.
And so I'm curious.
Absolutely.
Also, Michelle, you said not to do psychic work while you're drinking. Why? What, in your opinion, why do you not want to have alcohol when you're doing?
Well, maybe
some
not
work?
a lot. You can have a little, but it does open you up to other energies. It's like drink responsibly. And I think the whole thing, because I think, the European part of us, it's like the pub, getting together over, you know, food or drink,
Camaraderie.
you know, camaraderie, the sharing that, yeah.
Bringing people together, right?
And it is such an interesting point because I think, you know, as a coach, one of the greatest challenges and difficulty is sort of allowing people to relax enough that they can bring their true self to the session.
Certainly.
Right? And I had a friend that joked, it's actually our friend Lee Dahlberg. We actually met through a friend named Lee, and he said, Rob, you're a coach, you should have a coaching session called Wine and Dine, and you drink, and I thought, oh, well, I can't do that for ethical reasons.
Yeah.
However, it's true. You know, alcohol allows some people to sometimes relax in a way that they can be more
And I think, especially when you can really appreciate the craft of it, and you know, half of my love affair with Macallan and single malt is actually in the nose. So just smelling these beautiful whiskeys is such an experience into itself. It's not always about the consumption. It's about you know, it's about, like anything else, it's rewarding. It's about the experience.
Yeah,
So-
who needs magnolias when you have Macallan?
Oh, certainly.
So I'm going to try that next time. I'll just go out and I'll order and I'll only
just nose it.
Just
Absolutely.
nose it, no drinking.
Wow.
You know, I've been very, very fortunate in my life to. I've done some travel to Scotland, and I've gotten to drink whiskey older than me right out of the barrel in the distillery. And if I'm drinking something special like that, I'm a huge nerd, so I'm gonna sit there smelling it for like 45 minutes before I even take my first sip.
That's a spiritual
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
It is. People look at me like I'm a weirdo, but they're missing out, not me.
It's so interesting you say that, because one of the things we talk a lot about is just practicing being as fully present, mindful as possible, and that means engaging your senses more than the story in your head.
Right.
So it's just beautiful that. Love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for just having passion. It's so cool to meet people who just love what they do, and you know that's the beauty of La La Land, is just people doing what they love with passion and purpose, and you know. So have a great weekend, you guys.
Likewise.
Yeah.
For sure.
We have some very exciting guests coming up next week. On Monday, we have Lauren Everts, creator of The Skinny Confidential, as well as the creator of The Coley Collective, in a really amazing lineup. Well, Good Morning La La Land, streaming to you live on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
Have a great weekend, you guys.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.
That's right. Have a great week. Cheers.